from the VON Newsline. This is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening. I am Tashon Tyson, in with your VON Major News package for today, Friday, 5th October 2018. In our lead stories, nationally, reduced VAT day to continue in 2018. Cabinet asks to consider 2 VAT days. And Minister of Agriculture and Environment to implement agricultural projects. Regionally, high levels of seismic activity at Kikum-Jenny volcano, but alert level not raised. Internationally, key senators back in battle Supreme Court pick Brett Kavanaugh. And in sports, St. Kitts Nevis Olympic Committee names team for Youth Olympic Games. We'll have the details of these and other messages and the other stories after this short message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse.
Wow.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail.
We have agreed to continue the reduced VAT day in 2018. We have been asked to consider 2 reduced VAT days in 2018 to allow greater opportunity for consumers to patronize more businesses, in particular the smaller business outlets. We advise that on VAT days, people go to the PDCs and Horsfords, and some of the smaller ones, by the time the day is done, they basically get ignored. And so the Cabinet will deliberate on this matter on Monday at its regular meeting.
Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris. PM Harris made the announcement during his monthly press conference on Thursday, October 4th. He also explained what will happen after the Cabinet meets and that concessions on the reduced VAT day will be the same as they were in 2017.
And thereafter, the Financial Secretary will work with the Chamber of Industry and Commerce to implement the Cabinet's decision. What we have agreed in an earlier meeting this year with representatives of the business sector was that we will have a VAT day again in 2018 and that the concessions and the reduced VAT day will be the same as they were in 2017. That is, participating businesses will be allowed to charge VAT at a rate of 5% instead of the usual 17% on the sale of goods. So you get a 12% benefit. Additionally, no VAT will be charged on the first $50,000 and the cost of a vehicle. VAT of 17%, however, will apply at values above $50,000.
Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris. Discounted VAT Rate Day, DVRD, is a day here in St. Kitts and Nevis when the VAT value-added tax is reduced from 17% to 5%, and as a result, consumers will be afforded the opportunity to purchase goods at a lower VAT rate. 2 agricultural projects will soon be implemented by the Ministries of Agriculture and Environment with the implementation of the Food and Agriculture Organization FAO funded project assisting small island developing states (SIDS) to integrate the agricultural sectors into climate change priorities and nationally determined contributions (NDCs). There are 2 components of this project, namely strengthening technical capacities for innovation in climate adaptation and mitigation in the agricultural sector, and integrating the agricultural sector and food security priorities into national climate change strategies, action plans, and NDCs. At present, The FAO-funded climate change project is seeking small-scale, replicable, or creative, innovative projects that could minimize the adverse impacts of climate change on the agricultural sector. The $2 million FAO project, which runs from January 2017 to June 2019, is carried out in 3 Caribbean countries, namely St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, and Guyana, as well as 5 Pacific countries, Micronesia, Kiribati, Samoa, Solomon Islands, and Vanuatu. The Ministry of Health here in St. Kitts and Nevis has issued a statement confirming that central medical stores have adequate stock of the usual fast-acting, intermediate-acting, and long-acting insulin formulations. The ministry reassured the general public that the present batches of insulin in stock have adequate shelf lives based on the expiration dates noted on the packages. The statement said that this is to correct inaccurate information circulating in the media regarding a stock-out or non-availability of insulin on the island. It said the inaccurate information also alleged that patients' prescriptions are being filled with expired insulin. It said this information is not only false, but it is absolutely deliberately misleading. The ministry underscored that its insulin stock is not exhausted and that all persons with diabetes who are maintained or on insulin are able to access usual treatment. In the wake of reports that the government's hurricane rehabilitation program is being mismanaged, Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris has set the record straight and said the program is being effectively managed. Here is the Prime Minister speaking about the program.
I want to make the point with regards to the hurricane rehabilitation program, because there have been some fake news being propagated. I want to make the point that when we thought of this program, we were careful to ensure that it is effectively being managed. And so we put certain controls in place. The persons who are benefiting and should be benefiting would have been persons who would have reported damage to NEMA.
He also said that each application for the program is subject to screening.
Whatever mode by which an applicant comes to the system, the application is subject to screening and independent verification to determine its bona fides. Is it a genuine application? Is it an application that came about as a consequence of hurricanes? Independent and knowledgeable persons attached to the Public Works Department and the Sustainable Development Ministry review each application and determine its genuineness and the reasonableness of any estimate of damage.
Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris. The program was put in place following the passage of the 2017 hurricanes Irma and Maria. To date, the program has assisted 1,432 households in St. Kitts by repairing roofs of those affected. The federal government has to be on board with the ban on styrofoam and such like. That was Premier of Nevis, Honorable Mark Brantley's response to the question. What is his administration's plans with regards to the banning of the use of plastic and styrofoam on the island? The question was posed to the Premier at his monthly press conference held on Tuesday, 2nd October 2018. Minister Brantley, in his throne speech, pledged that his Concerned Citizens Movement, CCM-led administration, is dedicated to banning use of plastic and styrofoam use on the island. Premier Brantley explained why it was important for the federal government to be part of the initiative for it to be effective.
If we were to issue a ban on Nevis, we can't stop people from going to St. Kitts and bringing plastic bags over on the boat. It would be very difficult because once the plastic bags are in the country, they're already in the country. So we have a concern that we declare ban on Nevis. If it's not also banned in St. Kitts, then there's a very easy way to get around the Nevis ban, and that is our concern.
He further indicated that organizations are coming on board in the phasing out of the use of plastics and styrofoams in their establishments.
The hoteliers and the restaurateurs have come together as a group, and they have indicated that they want to voluntarily phase out the use of single-use plastics and styrofoam in their restaurants and in their hotels. And since they are the largest sort of single consumer, if you will, or users of those environmentally challenging products, the supermarkets are the next big offender, because every time you go, of course, they give you plastic bags, which then find their way into the environment. So we will be talking to them as well. So at this point, the NIA has not proposed legislation or proposed a ban as yet, because we need our colleagues in SINCIS also to be on board, and we expect that that is going to happen, and then the entire country can move forward. But in the interim, we have been talking to the big interest groups, such as the hoteliers and restaurants and the supermarkets, about a voluntary ban on their part. If they don't buy it and they don't make it available to the public, then we think that's a giant step forward.
Honorable Mark Brantley. And finally, persons working in the agricultural sector here in St. Kitts and Nevis are being asked to apply for a program being offered by the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture in Canada. The Institute has just announced it is launching its 2019 Research and Internship Assistance Program, RAIP. The program is divided into two components: research assistance and agriculture internships, and has proven to be excellent at facilitating short inter-country initiatives. Applications for projects under the 2019 Research Assistance Program will be accepted until November 16th. The RAIP applications for the Agriculture Internship Program are accepted on an ongoing basis throughout the year, pending availability of funds. For information concerning the program, persons can contact officials at the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture Delegation in Canada. That's our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on our social media page on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
Home. It means something different to everyone. It's a place you love, a place as unique as you are, a place where you can be yourselves, a place for life's big surprises, and not to mention the small ones. Moments to cherish and moments that last a lifetime. It's a place for nurture and a place where you can grow together. It's home. So whether you're building, purchasing, or renovating, the Bank of Nevis is here to open the door, giving you the confidence to dream and the help you need to get there with a mortgage loan from the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Welcome back, and all the regional news in detail. Out of Grenada. The University of the West Indies Seismic Research Center has reported high levels of seismicity at the Kikum-Jenny underwater volcano located off Grenada. It said since the episode began during the afternoon of September 30th, 2018, quite a number of events have taken place, including some of 3.5 magnitude. However, the threat level remains at yellow, which means the volcano is restless. Seismicity and/or fumarolic activity are above the historical level, or other unusual activity has been observed or can be expected without warning. The National Disaster Management Agency, NADIMA, in Grenada added that the exclusion zone of 1.5 kilometers from the summit of the volcano must continue to be observed. Kikum-Jenny is the region's only submarine volcano and is located about 5 miles north of Grenada. Out of Jamaica. Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called for the lifting of embargoes against Cuba. As he delivered his statement to world leaders at the United Nations, he noted that societies function best within an inclusive global environment where no one feels left behind. In his address, Holness also noted that it is important for the UN to support the efforts of the Secretary General and his Special Envoy in pursuing political processes related to situations in Western Sahara, Syria, and Myanmar. In that regard, he said each nation should be mindful of others who consistently face discrimination as the world prepares to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Out of the British Virgin Islands, a hotelier from Angola was sentenced to 5 months in prison and ordered to pay over $50,000 when he appeared in court in Tortola on Thursday, October 4th. Kirk Hughes was fined $56,000 and will also serve time at Her Majesty's Prison for his leading role in a few immigration and financial related crimes in the territory. Local media said that local law enforcement caught up to Hughes because he was named as an accomplice in smuggling 6 Hispanic migrants in the territory between August and September of this year. He was also fined for overstaying in the territory and was further sentenced to another 8 months imprisonment for money that he admitted was the proceeds of crime. Hughes's mandatory prison sentences are to run concurrently, but the default sentences are to be imposed if the fines are not paid. And finally, out of Dominica. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has said his government is making progress in the Petite Savanne resettlement project located at Bellevue, Chopin. He was speaking during a site visit earlier this week, accompanied by members of his cabinet, along with senior officials at the new location in order to make their own assessment of the progress and to get a clear understanding of the completion dates for that project. According to PM Skerrit, once they could get Domlec connected, there was a section for the project for the development that they would hand over to the residents right away. He also said that there has been great excitement from the people of Petite Savanne concerning the project. He mentioned that one of the things that will be done there is the planting of bay leaf and a lot of trees in the area. Over 800 residents were evacuated from Petite Savanne after the area was deemed unsafe following the passage of Tropical Storm Erika, which severely affected the island on August 27th, 2015. That's it for Regional Stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court seat looks all but confirmed after he won the backing of key senators despite an FBI investigation into sexual assault allegations. Republican Senator Susan Collins and Joe Manchin, a Democrat, both indicated their backing for the judge on Friday. Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation would tilt America's highest court in favor of conservatives. The court has the final say on issues such as abortion and gun control. A final vote on whether Judge Kavanaugh will join the 9-member panel could take place as soon as Saturday. France has opened an investigation into the disappearance of Meng Hongwei, the Chinese head of the International Police Agency, Interpol. His family has not heard from him since he left Interpol headquarters in the French city of Lyon for a trip back to China a week ago, police sources say. Here is more in this report.
Meng Hongwei, who's 64, was elected as president of Interpol 2 years ago. Last Saturday, he's supposed to have boarded a flight to China, leaving his wife and children in the city of Lyon, where Interpol is based. But since his departure, his wife says she's not heard a word from him. She went to police, and they've opened an investigation. A French official has said that Mr. Meng did not disappear in France, so it's presumed that something has happened to him in China.
A white police officer who killed a black teenager 4 years ago in Chicago has been found guilty of second-degree murder. Jason Van Dyke shot Laquan McDonald 16 times, seconds after arriving on the scene, claiming he feared for his life as a 17-year-old had a knife. Mr. Van Dyke was charged with first-degree murder, but has been convicted of the lesser charge.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of second-degree murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, first shot. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, second shot. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, third shot.
And finally, a man who pushed a former Eurotunnel bus onto tube tracks in central London has been found guilty of attempted murder. Sir Robert Malpass went flying from the platform at Marble Arch Station when he was shoved by Paul Crossley. The 91-year-old industrialist was rescued by a bystander but suffered a fractured pelvis and a head wound. An Old Bailey jury found Crossley, 46, of Leighton, East London, guilty of 2 counts of attempted murder. The second related to an unsuccessful attempt to push another passenger, Tobias French, onto the tracks at Tottenham Court Road Station earlier on 27th April. That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Let TDC Financial Services help you go for your goals. Whether you're thinking of taking that grand vacation, down payment on a house, higher education, TDC Financial Services has various plans that will allow you to go for your goals. Choose from the Accumulator Plus, Investment Starter Plan, and Fixed Deposit. Ready to go for your goals? Visit us at TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Welcome back, another sports in detail. The third edition of the Youth Olympic Games will be held in Buenos Aires, Argentina, over the period 6th to 18th October 2018, and the SKNOC will make its third appearance at these games. The team is being led by the chef de mission, Mrs. Jessica St. Louis Warner, and the head coach of the athletics team, Mr. Timothy Morton. The following athletes and team officials from the sport of athletics will represent the federation. Athletics, Mr. Avon Junior Rose, athlete 400 meters, Miss Jarencia Jeffers, athlete 100 meters, and Mr. Timothy Morton, coach. The team will be engaged in competitions on the following dates. Athletics, 11th to 16th October 2018. In football, Italian football club Juventus's shares dropped sharply on Friday after criticism of their handling of a rape allegation made against summer signing Cristiano Ronaldo. He strongly denies the allegation, which emerged in German media this week. The club's share prices had hit record levels after Ronaldo joined in July, but they have dipped since the allegation emerged against him on Tuesday, losing almost 10% of their value on Friday alone. The club's social media accounts have been criticized for tweets they posted on Thursday. In them, they said the alleged events dating back to almost 10 years ago, do not change the opinion of the player, who they described as a great champion. In cricket, the West Indies are struggling against India on day 2 of the first test match. India declared their first innings 649 for 9, Virat Kohli 139, Prithvi Shaw 134, Ravindra Jadeja 100 not out, Rishabh Pant 92, and Cheteshwar Pujara 86. Devendra Bushell 4 for 217, Sherman Lewis 2 for 93, Craig Brathwaite 1 for 47, Shannon Gabriel 1 for 84, and Waston Chase 1 for 137. West Indies in reply ended the day on 94 for 6. Meantime, Virat Kohli became the first Indian batsman to pass 1,000 test runs in 3 consecutive years by hitting 139 as the host ruthlessly dominated West Indies on day 2 of the first test. The Indian captain, 29, eased to his 24th test century and 4th of 2018. In football, Cristiano Ronaldo has been called a great professional as he prepares to return for Juventus in their Serie A match at Udinese on Saturday. Portugal forward Ronaldo, 33, has firmly denied raping Catherine Meaga at a Las Vegas hotel in 2009. Earlier this week, Ronaldo spoke out on social media saying he was calm over any and all allegations as he had a clear conscience over the allegation. U.S. sportswear giant Nike, which has a contract with a reported $1 billion with Ronaldo, has said it is deeply concerned by the allegation. In spite of the allegation, Juventus' boss said Ronaldo was ready to return to action. The Italian champions signed Ronaldo from Real Madrid for £99.2 million in July. And finally, a Neymar hat-trick inspired Paris Saint-Germain to an emphatic Champions League Group C victory over Red Star Belgrade at the Parc des Princes. In a one-sided contest, Neymar set the hosts on their way with an exquisite free kick, which found the bottom left corner from 25 yards out. Scores: Paris Saint-Germain 6 goals, Red Star Belgrade 1. That's it for sports. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy with a 50% or moderate chance for some overnight showers. Weather tomorrow will be partly sunny with periods of increased cloudiness and a 50% or moderate chance of morning showers. Winds are east at 19 to 30 kilometers per hour or 10 to 16 knots. Seas are moderate with significant long period swells of 1.5 to 2.1 meters or 5 to 7 feet. High surf advisory remains in effect mainly along coastal areas north and east of the islands. Sunrise tomorrow would be at 6:02 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Friday, 5th October 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, reduced VAT day to continue in 2018. Cabinet asked to consider 2 VAT days, and Minister of Agriculture and Environment to implement agricultural projects. Regionally, high levels of seismic activity at Kikamjeni volcano, but alert level not raised. Internationally, key senators back in battle Supreme Court pick Brett Kavanaugh. And in sports, St. Kitts Nevis Olympic Committee names team for Youth Olympic Games. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashram Tyson, wishing you a safe and an enjoyable weekend.